Hello everyone, welcome back. It's 2022, but you're listening to same podcast series, Let It Thought. I wanted to continue this podcast series because I just realized that this was one of the most important things that I did in 2021. This is a special episode in continuation to the previous episode in which I talked with one of the reporters from Bhutan Broadcasting Service, Sherub Dorji, who is currently pursuing his master's studies in India. So while we were discussing about rural reporting in the past episode, we also happened to talk about climate change impacts in rural pockets. Sherub was in Lunana, and then he also worked from Samsi for living for his studies in India. As I present this special episode to all the listeners, I'm here in California, Sarpong, and this year we're seeing longer, colder winter. And I've been here in Sarpong for the past 3 years now, and I have experienced two very different winters, I should say. And to all the listeners, should you have any experience to share, climate impacts, stories to share, please let us know. Comment. Right now I'll be sharing a short conversation I had with Sherub Dorji. I was planning to drop this episode right after our last episode on rural reporting, but things got pushed backward with all these disruptions happening around. But here it is now. Here we'll get to hear what Sherub thinks about climate change and how Sherub has seen this climate crisis affect our people in rural communities. While talking about the rural communities and rural reporting, Sherub, next danger we face is the impact of climate change on those rural communities. Grassroots people in the grassroots. So, like I mentioned earlier, you were there in Lunana and you also worked in Samsi. So, would you like to share how different are these communities facing the impact of climate change? Because as it is, we have started talking about climate change for a long time, and I should say we've been doing some things right, but the impacts are there. So, would you like to share your experiences or your views on how people are facing the climate change impacts in Lunana and Samsi?
Nima, I have to tell you, you have to be there to really feel that climate change is real and it is happening in Lunana. When you're standing there in between the two lakes of Thotomi and Rapstang, you will feel it. People who have gone there have felt it. You will feel it. I was just there, standing there at the Moraine Ridge, the dam that divides the Thotomi on the north and Rapstang on the south. It's just a dam which is supported by ice body underneath. And experts have warned people that the ice body that is dividing Thotomi and Rapstang is melting at a rapid rate, which could be devastating. And the devastation is that Rapstang is a fully formed lake. It is a huge lake, magnificent lake. The magnificence, you can only feel it if you're there. Such a huge lake. And the danger is that the Moraine Dam, which is dividing Thotomi and Rapstang, is melting. Thotomi Lake, it's a glacial lake. It is in its forming stage. There are a lot of ponds on the Thotomi Lake. It is in the forming stage. The glaciers are melting due to the increasing warming of the globe. Glaciers are melting. The water level in Thotomi Lake is increasing. On the other hand, the Moraine Dam is melting. And what would happen? One day it will happen. And I won't say it might happen. One day it will happen that Thotomi will spill over onto the Rapstang, and the Rapstang Lake will overflow. And when that happens, everybody, some might not know, let me tell you, okay, the 1994 October flood from the Pho Chhu was measured at 18 million cubic meter of water. All right. And for those who do not know, Google it and then see the pictures by yourself, the devastation that was caused along the Punakha Valley. You see it for yourself. And in the current worst case scenario of if Tortomi spills, when Tortomi spills over onto Rupstang, the devastation will be 3 times of that of 1994 flood, which basically means Punakha Zong will be gone. I'm putting it straight. Punakha Zong will be gone. Half of Kurutang will be flooded. Most of the buildings will be gone. So you imagine the devastation. And climate change is real. If you all don't believe me, go there and see it. The devastation, the reminiscences left behind by the 1994 flood. The reminiscences you can see from Tenche village all the way down to Sojo village in Lunana. The devastation is there. And that's where you can really see climate change happening. All right. So that's there, the devastation along the Punakha Valley. And if that happens, it will go all the way down to the villages in Assam and Bangladesh. It will happen because the water has to flow somewhere and the devastation will go down. So that is when the worst case scenario from Lunana happens. But at the same time, the villages in the south, they're facing irregular summers. When it rains, it pours. All the crops and everything that they have gets submerged, gets rotten. When it doesn't rain at all. It's dry heat in the summer, takes out all the moisture from the soil. All the plants that are there planted in the fields get dried up. So we are mostly an agrarian society. We live up from all the works that the farmers do for us. We eat from that. If and when we really feel the effects of climate change, and we are feeling it right now, so where will we eat our food from? So that is the question. Down in the south, summers are washing away water sources. Summers are washing away, pouring rains are washing away the irrigation canals. So what is happening? And on the other hand, you have to go to rural places to see the development works that are being done. Roads are not being built to adapt to climate change. All right. Irrigation canals are not being built to adapt to climate change. All right. We are not experimenting enough with plant varieties which can adapt to climate change. We are doing what we have been doing 20 years ago, 30 years ago. All right, we are opening up open canals, which would end up losing 30% of the water, irrigation water that we would bring in all those open cemented canals and all. Climate resilience means for us to use climate resilient technologies so that because climate change is real, and when the real effects of climate change happens, we can adapt to those changes, but it is not happening. Go to the rural areas to see that. We are still digging up earth and then laying cemented canals to give irrigation water to the farmers. We're losing water. We're losing the precious water that are not there. And what would happen in the dry seasons? There won't be water. There won't be water to irrigate the fields, and we won't have vegetables and food to eat. So it's as simple as that. I hope I didn't make it too serious.
That was much awakening, I should say, Sherub, to me, because while hearing climate talks and all, I was wondering, why should the climate talks surround only about glaciers melting for these long years? And now that I have listened to you talking about the impacts, now I'm convinced that we should start talking from the glaciers, and like you see, the problems in the south, the development aspect of how our investment in coming up with the infrastructures are failing to see the climate risks. That was much awakening, Sherub. So now I'll also be like you shared. I will also be talking about glaciers melting now. I would like to hear people talking about glaciers melting, because
glacier melting, glacier melting is one part where, if the devastation from glacial melting happens, it will wreak havoc in the matter of hours. that is what will happen. But more importantly, I guess people, journalists like us in the rural areas need to highlight is if the villages, if the communities, and if the development activities happening in the communities are happening in a way such that these activities are being done to, first of all, help mitigate climate change, second of all, to adapt to climate change induced activities if it happens. So this is, I think, where we as journalists need to educate ourselves, need to understand the real issues surrounding climate change so that we can do justice to the stories that we are doing, so that we can question people when they are doing certain things. Because climate change, as I said, is real, and please, people out there, don't deny climate change. It is real, it is happening, and if we in the media can highlight and can pinpoint the activities that are not really helping in mitigating climate change or not really helping in adapting to climate change, then I guess we are failing as reporters being set up in the rural areas.
Well, to all who listened to this quite revealing and candid conversation, this was Sherub Dorji sharing what he saw while reporting from Samsi and Lunana. And we would like to dedicate this episode to all the people in the country and across the globe who is playing a part to save this place, we hope, dear. And thank you everyone who listened to us.